What NSFW thing have you seen in public that you will never forget? When I was 15, I was at a large-ass family reunion on a large plot of private property. Me, my uncle, my cousin and my dad's cousin were all at the edge of the property overlooking a river. We saw a canoe coming down the river. When they got close, we saw a guy and a girl in the canoe. All of a sudden the guy yells, "Grab an Ed." My cousin replies, "Why?" The man proceeded to respond, "Because you're about to catch some titty," and the girl proceeded to flash us. It was great, I'll never forget it. A gentleman that my co-workers and I have dubbed Naked Yoga Man. We work in an office next to an apartment building, and if you're on the early shift on the 4th floor, you can witness a middle-aged man doing yoga on his balcony entirely naked. Every morning, without fail. Someone complained once and he put on tiny gold booty shorts for about a week before deciding they were cramping his style. Once when I was at an outdoor swimming pool in my tweens, we were in a mixed group playing with big inflatable tires in the water close to me. One of the girls climbed on top near me and her bikini bottom got briefly stuck on the valve, giving me a brief full flash of her pussy. The image was burned in my mind, and years of masturbating to the image has not diminished the hotness of the situation. A dude going down on a chick in a booth at a Red Lobster. I was on my way to the bathroom and made awkward eye contact with a chick. All-you-can-eat crab feast. Once, on a dark night while many drunk idiots were stumbling home through the center of town, I walked past a man urinating in a side alley, pants around his knees. Tattooed over his entire ass was the moon from Majora's Mask. I have never known fear like that since. On the commute into London, I sat opposite a man and a woman who were obviously a couple. The woman kept acting slightly fidgety, and making muffled yelps every now and then. I kept glancing over out of the corner of my eye, and it wasn't until we were halfway through the journey that I saw what the man had in his hand, one of those small, pink, remote control devices that I guess paired with whatever vibrating sex toy the woman had down her drawers. Didn't actually get to see anything directly, I guess, though she had troubles standing up to get off the train at the final station. At a music festival, I saw a guy, obviously on way too many drugs, jacking off to an art installation full of tiny psychedelic dolls whilst being held in a chokehold by a security guard. He didn't stop and came all over the ground before more security dragged him away. Saw a girl blowing a guy in a car. Saw an obese woman hold her fat-ass 3-year-old on the bus, take off his pants, put his feet on the seat in front of him, and then had him shit onto a shopping bag on the floor. She left the bag. When I was about 10 or 11, pulling into a 3-star hotel with my family, there was a couple just fucking hardcore on a random bench across the parking lot. Come to think of it, that was probably when I first became interested in the idea of sex. That one drunk/ripped Irish dude that was running on a small ledge at 7 in the morning. Completely fucking naked. Hooker lured him back inside while waving his wallet. I honestly thought I'd see a man die that day because the ledge was so narrow and he was sprinting over it like nothing. Once a 20-something woman came into my store to shop wearing a tank top and a small jacket. Noticed as she walked by that her whole tit was out on one side. No kid in sight, so I'm assuming it was accidental. No clue how she didn't notice. Had nice tits though. Some old dude wanking it while riding a bike. This requires some skill though. I saw a homeless man taking a water bottle shower in a subway terminal. He cleaned everywhere. Living in London. Neighbor's kid having a party. When the neighbors were away, some of the youths decided to fuck. There were clearly not enough rooms in the house, so they did it in the back garden. My bedroom window overlooked our back gardens. Working in a call center, saw a girl give a BJ to a guy in the courtyard behind the office. Movie theater, entering a movie that had been out in the cinemas for about a month already. Walking into the theater to find a very young blonde girl giving a blowjob to her man friend. Best part was they weren't even sitting far back at all and the guy didn't notice us until it was too late. A man standing on his balcony scrubbing his penis with a wire brush. I was doing a 3-point turn in a narrow road which actually took about 7 points. pulled into a gap between two parked cars only to be facing a woman taking a piss. Panties down, hitching up her shirt to avoid splash. I was trying to get the hell out of there as quickly as possible, but she just kept yelling at me like I was the one in the wrong. I was staying at my friend's flat. They lived in a district where, well, whole neighborhood was NSFW. We were having a dinner and I heard some noise behind the door. They warned me not to look, but I did. I saw a fat guy, pants down, and a really ugly old hooker on her knees, blowing him. His tiny fat dick. And her ugly skinny skeleton like wrinkled face, and a dirty old t-shirt she was wearing. Christ, I will never unsee this. In 2006 I was in China walking back to my hotel and saw a group of 10 or 12 guys with pipes beat a guy to death in front of a casino, split his head open right there and then chased another guy a block down into a meat shop and killed him too. My hotel was next to the casino and I walked right up to the guy laying there. His eyes and skull were open and he was bleeding out. I'll never forget that shit. Saw a lady in the trunk of a car, with her ass hanging out and a guy walking behind the slowly moving car, humping the lady. For me it has to be the first time I ever saw boobs in real life. I was in elementary school, maybe 4th or 5th grade. I decided to go right down the street to the playground and play. None of my friends were around, so I decided to dig in the sand. Then I realized there are people up on the playground. It's a girl and a guy. I recognize them as a couple of the older group kids that are usually roaming the neighborhood, walking in the street and being loud and cussing. They were probably in 8th grade or early high school. As I'm digging in the sand, I hear her saying, "Give it back, I have to leave," etc. It turns out the guy had her phone and wasn't letting her have it. He was saying she had to do something first, but you could tell she didn't want to do whatever that thing was. Finally she gives up and starts playing with the bottom of her shirt. She lifts it up quickly and, being the polite child I was, I looked away, but not before seeing her bra first. The guy is saying no, that's not what he wanted to see. So she rolls her eyes and does it again, except this time I did not look away. She proceeded to lift up her shirt and her bra and flash the guy who was holding her phone. It was quick, but it was the first time I had ever seen boobs in person. A couple years later, I was swimming at the city pool, and saw that same guy there at the pool. He was kind of herded into corner of the pool with a different girl and they were really close. As I swam by underwater with my goggles on, I looked to my right. I always thought it was interesting how different people swim and tread water, so I was always observing the people around me, and lo and behold, this guy has his dick out and it's going straight into the girl. In the middle of a public pool. Because of that one dude, I saw my first pair of tits and my first vagina. I graduated college with a small class. 9 of us got a condo and went to Florida for the week between finals and graduation, and I will never drink that much liquor again in my life. One night we were just lounging on the beach chairs when someone looks up and sees about 3 floors up, a couple doing it. Girl is bent over the balcony railing and taking it from behind. Staring out at the water late at night, probably pretty cool for them. Being obnoxious 22-year-olds, we started cheering them on. The girl gets pissed off, yanks up her shorts and goes inside. The guy goes to follow, but pauses, comes back to the rail and gives us all a double thumbs up, doing an obscene dance. He might have even been doing the helicopter with his dong, but I couldn't tell. Then he runs for the door. I'm guessing his lady saw that and was about to lock his ass out. Made our night, and I will never see anyone that shameless again. Visiting some family in Manhattan who live near Columbia University. We walk down the block and get into our car. As my father starts the car, I look left out of the window. There's a dirty homeless female midget blowing a cross-dresser in a stairwell. I love NYC. Driving to work one morning, I saw a man enjoying a nice wank while waiting for the bus. He wasn't trying to be subtle about it. Wiener was out and everything. Stranger than that was there were people alongside waiting as well and not giving a fuck. As if to them this was a regular thing Jack did every morning. I saw a homeless woman giving a blowjob to a homeless man in a wheelchair. I think they were the only two people having a good time in Salt Lake City.